Michael Cohen's testimony before Congress revealed few secrets or news stories. The topics of discussion were largely familiar, as Stormy Daniels, WikiLeaks, and Russian business ties were the focuses of Cohen's testimony. Cohen did little to provide the bombshells or smoking guns that some may have expected from the president's personal attorney. Mostly, Cohen took shots at President Trump's character and provided background details to the legal controversies that have loomed over the Trump presidency. In his opening statement, Cohen attacked Trump's character.
He is a con man, and I am ashamed.
When asked, Cohen estimated that he had personally threatened roughly 500 people and entities on behalf of President Trump. Cohen also claimed that President Trump was aware of campaign staff coordinating with WikiLeaks.
Stone told Mr. Trump that he had just gotten off the phone with Julian Assange, and that Mr. Assange told Mr. Stone that within a couple of days there would be a massive dump of emails that would damage Hillary Clinton's campaign.
Cohen repeatedly referred to a New York State criminal investigation related to President Trump. Cohen did not elaborate on the investigation, Trump's connection to it, or any information he may have provided. What we do know is that Cohen's documents were seized by law enforcement in a raid on his home. Without legally actionable testimony, those documents may be what the special counsel is building their case on. And in the wake of the House Judiciary Committee's documents request from nearly 81 Trump-related entities, those documents, not flashy testimony, may be the focus of further investigations into President Trump.
Now, Michael, the Democrats have been very outspoken about this, but what have Capitol Hill Republicans been saying about the testimony?
Capitol Hill Republicans have, by and large, been pretty mum on this. They haven't really bought Michael Cohen's testimony. President Trump, in his typical fashion, chimed in on Twitter. He shared his thoughts about this whole scandal, this whole issue, a little bit earlier this week, and he was pretty skeptical. He called him a failed lawyer, and he said everything is totally contradicted in his testimony. So those are pretty harsh words. And the thing that most Republicans have really been focusing on is that Michael Cohen has perjured himself in the past. And I think his record of kind of lies has really allowed or kind of given Republicans plausible deniability with this testimony.
So is that one of the reasons why we're kind of seeing Republicans maybe not rush to fall on a sword to kind of save Trump on this one?
Absolutely. I think people are kind of waiting and seeing here because it seems unlikely that impeachment proceedings will be able to come through before the elections, and with so much up in the air, it seems like people are a little more willing to stay put than they are to kind of rush to some hasty condemnation.
Now, the House Democrats are saying they're launching an investigation to 81 people and groups connected to the president. Do you think Michael Cohen's testimony is going to play into this?
It's tough to see that because so much of what Michael Cohen has provided is not necessarily public. We know that he's talked to enforcement about Stormy Daniels, he's talked to the public about Stormy Daniels. But what documents he has or didn't have, what communications he had or didn't have, and not just the communications, but how President Trump responded in those communications is kind of what's up in the air here. And I think that's what's going to kind of provide either the legal basis to go take further action or not, and that's up in the air right now.
But how realistic are those outcomes? I mean, we're talking about going through these documents. How likely are we to actually get something from this?
It seems unlikely because I think so much of what's happening is so complex and so hard to understand. It requires so much reading that I think it's a little too complex for maybe people to understand quickly. If you look at the history of political scandal, things like Watergate are kind of easy to understand, whereas some of the stuff Hillary Clinton faced, like the Uranium One scandal, it takes a lot to kind of process, and I think that's where Trump is right now. Things are so convoluted that I think it's going to be difficult for the public really to take a side accurately.
All right, Michael Furnari, definitely something that we're going to be sifting through in the coming weeks.